Hi, I wanted to show you what it looks like to make these remedies so that you have a visual of what the text in this blog looks like. It's really super simple when you see it in real life. So we're going to be making an autonosode. An autonosode is a remedy that's made with your own body fluids. And when you're sick with something like a virus or even a bacteria, you can use your saliva, you can actually use your urine as well. This is a great way when you don't have access to remedies or a homeopath to actually start the healing process for any type of illness that you have. And it could just be a cold, but with the craziness going on with the coronavirus, I'm feeling like this is a good way to go for people. So you're going to need 2 bottles. These need to be clean. What I would recommend is if you have herbal tinctures or things, bottles left over, you can reuse them, and you could see that this one is reused. Just boil them for about 30 minutes and then let them dry, like leave them upside down. So I'm gonna put a faux sample in this bottle since you wouldn't want me to spit on video. This one should be clean and empty. Wash your hands, wash all the supplies. One of your bottles is going to have your sample in it, and that could be your urine, and that could be mucus from your nose, it could be spit. And what you'll do is just put that alone in this bottle. Don't put any water or anything else with it. So you'll have your sample in one bottle. The other bottle will be clean and empty. You also will want to have a teaspoon, measuring teaspoon, not a, well, actually it doesn't matter. If you're going to measure this out yourself, I'll explain why I chose this. I like to use a little funnel. It's not necessary, but it makes the process easier with these little bottles. Something to document with, a piece of paper and a pen or pencil. So this bottle has to have a dropper, okay, because you're going to be using this as a measuring tool. So what you will do in your empty dropper bottle is take from your sample, whatever it is you're using, and you're going to put just 1 drop into that bottle. Empty out the dropper so that it's empty, okay? Put that aside. You don't need that anymore. That's actually all you're going to use out of your sample. Now what you're going to do is, well, in my case, I measured. So you want 99 to 100 drops of clean water. So if you want to take your spoon and one time measure out how much it takes to fill a teaspoon so you know what it looks like. It doesn't have to be perfect or exact. So you just take water in this, clean water, and I would recommend either, I use filtered water from my sink, but it's heavily filtered. You can use bottled water. You can even use distilled water, but you want to make sure that you have a good mineral content in your body to communicate with the remedy. So I tend to like to use water that has some form of natural minerals in it. Spring water would be good. Now, measure out 99 to 100 drops into your teaspoon. Mine happens to be exactly a teaspoon with this dropper. So what I'm going to do, and I'll turn you around to see what I'm doing here. Where is it? I will fill 1 teaspoon. As you can see, I'm going to pour that into my bottle. That's where the handy little funnel comes in. And then you've got about 99 to 100 drops of water with your sample 1 drop. Close it up, and this is where you're going to start the succussion process, and that's what the paper and pen is going to be for. The way I like to count, you need to succuss this, meaning tap, 100 times. I count out by tens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. I won't go through the whole thing and bore you. Once you get to 100, make a tally mark on your paper. Now you've got a 1C. What you're going to do with this to go to a 2C, you'll take out some of your sample, dump the rest. Make sure that bottle is empty now. Put 1 drop from that original sample, and I don't mean the sample of your saliva, I mean the sample that you just created, the 1C in this bottle. Notice that this one has a white ring. My sample does not. So now you've got, and you empty out the rest of your dropper. So now you've got 1 drop in here. And you're going to go through the same process again of filling with water in your teaspoon, pouring it in like so. So now you've got 99 to 100 drops of clean water and 1 drop of your 1C. Put your cap on, and you're going to go through this whole process again. And you're going to succuss 100 times, 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you get to 100, you make another mark on your paper. So as you keep going, these tally marks are going to be your potency. 1C, 2C, 3C. I would recommend, you know, you can either, if you muscle test, you can muscle test what the right potency would be for this. Because each person might be different. A 3C might be great for one person. A 6C might be necessary. I've gone all the way up to 200C, and this is something you can do throughout the day. So let's say you want to start with a 6C. So you go through this process 6 times. I would recommend taking a little bit out of the bottom of this and putting it into another clean bottle so that you can keep going with your potencies if you need to. So even if you decide right now you want to work with a 6C, down the road you may want to increase it to a 30C or a 15C or 200C. In order to do that, you need to have your original remedy that you made at 6C. So you could take a little bit of that out, put it in another bottle, and then what you want to do is you want to preserve this. You can fill it with straight alcohol, as long as it's an organic or, you know, maybe a grain-free type of alcohol. We tend to like to use organic cane sugar alcohol. There's also grape alcohol, potato. You can fill this, and now you've got a preserved stock bottle. And what you can do with that, because it's mostly alcohol, is you can actually use that to medicate empty pellets, or you can just take it orally, or you could put it in something like a sip of water. Now that you have that separated out, let's say it's 6C, this was created into a 6C, you take your little bit out, put it into another bottle. Now if you want to keep going, you take that 6C, the original one, and you can go to a 7C, an 8C, a 9C, and you can keep going. You can also preserve this with glycerin if you don't want to use alcohol, and that would work as well. So I think that's pretty much it. Label it so you know what you have, and you can make one out of saliva, one out of mucus, one out of urine, which has a lot of metabolites of what's going on in your body, including, you know, whatever response your body has to whatever is going on, whatever illness you have. So the rest will be in the blog. If you have any questions, let me know.